You have some questions you're going to ask me?
Yeah. I'll just give you quickly what.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at what is the macro scenario in terms of what is the kind of nurse shortage which is in USA.
Okay.
Then what is specific to Banner in terms of what are the kind of requirements they have, where all Banner is recruiting from.
Okay.
And what exactly you're looking from a nurse, which I've got a fair idea from, but on the camera we want that.
Okay.
Exactly
All right.
And what are the performance expectations which you have from a nurse?
Are you kind of going to ask me that as we go along so I don't forget?
Yeah,
okay. All right.
I'll just give the cues.
Okay. You'll need to do that. You're probably going to have to tape and cut and paste a lot on this because I'm not great at giving these interviews on film.
Are you comfortable?
I am. Yeah, I'm fine.
Currently, what is the nurse shortage scenario in USA?
Okay. Currently, within the United States, we are close to 200,000 nurses short at the present time. In the state of Arizona, where I'm from and where I recruit for, we are about 8,000 nurses short. And these are acute care nurses, hospital acute care nurses. And typically the other thing is that by the year 2010, we'll be nearly, the projection by the U.S. Department of Labor is that we'll be nearly 800,000 nurses short in the United States, if the current trend continues.
Which are the countries besides India?
Okay. Currently we're recruiting primarily from India and the Philippines, although we've been to the Middle East, where again most of the nurses that we interview and select are either from India, from the Philippines, some from China. We've recruited some from the United Kingdom, and also a few nurses from South Africa, some nurses from Canada. But primarily the sourcing countries who have an excess of nurses currently are the Philippines and India.
What has been Banner's experience with nurses who have come from India?
We just really began to receive the nurses after about a 2-year process of getting nurses through all of the examinations that are required to come to the U.S. We started receiving nurses in December from India. So far the experience has been very, very positive for Banner. The nurses come very dedicated to study and learn. They're hard workers. They are well received on the patient care units by their colleagues as well as their department directors and managers. They report a high level of enthusiasm and very strong work ethic. So we're very happy to have the nurse from India.
Which aspects do you think are particularly good about Modi healthcare placements in terms of
Okay. We've had really a great relationship with Charu Modi and her staff. They recruit with the utmost integrity, so we have a great partnership. They recruit ethically. They really work with the nurse to make sure that they are successful getting through the I-140 process, taking the NCLEX exam. They have educators on staff who help the nurses study and learn so that they can be successful in passing both the English exam as well as the United States Nursing Board exam. They also stay on top of the deployment when the nurse is ready to deploy to make sure that the nurse is well taken care of in Arizona. They know where their nurses are going, and they have a high degree of confidence in Banner that we'll treat the nurse respectfully and that they'll have good solid employment and opportunity. So it's been a great partnership. Many of the agencies who are try to do this, many of them really don't have a very good foundation and idea of what it takes. You don't get rich quick doing this sourcing of nurses. And a number of the agencies have made lots of promises to nurses and really hasn't panned out. Some of the nurses who've been in the process will not make it because the agency that filed for them is no longer in business. So with Modi, they have a track record of business ethics and being in business for a long time. They're a great partner.
There's one take I would like to have is we have a great partnership with Modi Healthcare, because you have used they. I didn't have the word Modi Healthcare placement.
Okay. Okay, no problem. What did I say?
We have a great we had a great relationship
With Modi
them.
Healthcare
You said
Placement.
with them,
Okay,
so-
I said Modi probably. Okay, we have been working with Ms. Charu Modi and her staff for a number of years now. We have a great partnership with Modi Healthcare Placement. They do business at the highest ethical standard and do business with integrity, which is what Banner is all about. And we like to do business, conduct business with integrity.
What exactly do you look for in a nurse when you interview them in India and finally
Okay.
when they go?
We're really looking for a minimum of 2 years of acute care hospital experience. We prefer, of course, the language skills have to be very strong, very good English skills, English communication skills. We like nurses who have some technical background. We're looking primarily, as I said, for acute care nurses, so nurses who work medical surgical area, nurses who work critical care, ICU, CCU, emergency department, cardiovascular, operating room, operation theater. Those are typically what we're looking for. Mostly we're looking for the heart to make sure that the nurse has the dedication to get through the process, because it's a very difficult process. And a nurse who's a little bit lazy or not very motivated simply will not make it. So.
And specifically, what are the performance expectations which is there from
Okay.
a nurse when she reaches?
Okay, we provide the nurses with a very good, solid orientation. And so by the end of the orientation, we expect the nurse to be competent to work at the bedside. And so there's a set of competencies that we check the nurse off on, depends on the area in which the nurse works. But for instance, if they're a CCU nurse, they have to have EKG interpretation skills, good patient assessment skills, and so forth. So really from a performance standpoint, we want nurses who come to work, who come with a good attitude, who take excellent care of the patients, good communication skills, and good clinical bedside skills.
And the nurses who have already joined, how are they feeling?
Okay. The nurses that we have, and we have, by the end of May, we will have received 24 nurses from Modi Healthcare Placement. The nurses are doing fabulous. They struggle a little bit for a while. It's a different culture. It's a different way of practicing nursing. But once they get in through it, get through the orientation period, the report that we get back on them really is very, very good. The hospitals are grateful to have them. They love the work ethic. They love the fact that they come to work with a smile, very positive attitude, and a willingness to learn. And I think anyone who's motivated and has the willingness to learn will be successful. And that's really what we found with the Modi Banner nurses now.
And what was the lifestyle? What
Okay.
are the differences they see and how do they feel?
I think it's very difficult to come to a different country, and it's a different culture. But the nurses really seem to be thriving in our culture. I think one of the things we probably miss most are some of the Indian foods, but we have markets that have the Indian spices and so forth, and we do have Indian restaurants. We have an Indian community. We have all types of religions and temples and so forth. So I think they're acclimating very well. We haven't had anybody want to go home yet.
Okay, what I wanted was something that the kind of lifestyle they're enjoying. Is something
In terms of how they their living conditions.
Yeah.
Okay. Most of the nurses who come have improved their standard of living many-fold. The nurse here in India makes about $5 roughly a day, where in the United States the beginning salary is $24 per hour. So their standard of living is very, very good. Most of them live in, and actually one of the thrills and one of the things that I've enjoyed most about actually deploying the nurse is seeing the look on the nurse's face when we take them to their apartment for the first time. They have one-bedroom furnished apartments, and many of the nurses say, a whole family in India would live in an apartment like this. So they have very nice apartments. Most of the apartments have swimming pools, they have workout facilities, they have high-speed internet in the business center, in the apartment complex. It's a roomy apartment, it's furnished, all of them are modern, brand new. Many of the nurses buy automobiles or cars shortly after they arrive. A great number of our nurses, in fact, have already bought their own homes, and I would expect that after a year or so, it takes about a year to build up the income and so forth to be able to do that, but I would expect fairly soon that the Modi healthcare placement nurses will also be buying their own homes, and that's everybody's American dream.
What are the advantages does Banner Hospital provide or give vis-a-vis other employers who,
Okay.
from an Indian nurse perspective?
Okay. We have really a full array of benefits for the nurse. Not only do they enjoy a very high and competitive salary, but they have full-time benefits. So they accrue vacation time, we call it paid time off. They have holiday time off. They have short-term and long-term disability. We have a 401k program with a 4% company match. We have health insurance, life insurance, dental insurance, vision insurance, automobile insurance. We also have tuition reimbursement so that a nurse who wishes to go back to school, perhaps get a bachelor's if they don't already have a Bachelor of Science in Nursing or a Master's in Nursing, can do that, and the Banner Health will pay them up to $5,000 annually in tuition reimbursement. And there's really no cap on that. So if you want to go to school for 5 years, that's $25,000 towards your education. Many, many benefits. We provide continuing education within the facilities, so most of our hospitals have ongoing in-service education where the nurses can continue to learn, and it's free. It's paid for by Banner.
One thing which I wanted was that it is a direct recruitment.
Yes.
Which is a big advantage.
Okay. Yeah, let me talk a little bit about that. There are typically two models of, two different types of models for nurses to come to the United States and work. And one is a model where the nurse is an employee of an agency, and the agency employs the nurse. They place the nurse in a hospital, and they then charge the hospital a markup for that. But the nurse is not actually the employee of the hospital. Typically, those agencies don't provide quite the same level of benefit. The salary might be very good, but the benefits in terms of the orientation that they receive, the educational opportunity, certainly the short and long-term disability, the health insurance plan, vision plan. We're a very large company, and we can afford to provide very good benefits for our employees. The direct hire model, which is what we're using with Modi healthcare placement, is where the nurse actually comes and works in a Banner hospital, is hired as a Banner employee, just like I'm a Banner employee, and they have every advantage that I have in terms of benefits, education, and certainly a retirement plan where a savings retirement investment plan, the 401k, is a plan where the nurse can invest in the stock market. The company matches and can quickly gain a large sum of money to save.
I think but there's one bite I want, saying that at Banner Hospitals we are waiting for you.
Okay, all right. Let me think how I can do that. And you can cut it out however you like.
Yeah. I'll take 2 3
But I think for anyone who's really motivated and would like to, I think for anyone who is really dedicated and wants to come to the United States and work, it's a fabulous opportunity to come and work for a good employer. There's lots of opportunity to be promoted. So if a nurse wants to become a manager or an educator, they have the opportunity to apply for those positions. We need you at Banner Health. If you're a hard worker and willing to sacrifice and do what it takes on the front end, you'll never regret it. It's a great opportunity, and we need you at Banner Health. Okay?